like, how have you seen, or have you seen attitudes towards housing change, and kind of, I guess, how is your mentality in trying to, deal with this, and kind of, coming back every year, and trying to find the right mix of what's going to work?
Um, I think in the general public, we've seen a lot of positive changes in terms of attitudes towards more housing, and the public gets it. Voters get it. The polling is like clear. People understand we need more housing. People understand that you can mix apartment buildings and single family homes in a neighborhood, and it's just fine. It's not the end of the world. But politically, the anti-housing forces, the NIMBYs, have become very organized locally and statewide, and they're very loud and insistent, and they show up, and they paint a false picture that they are somehow the majority when they're not even close to the majority. But for elected officials, sometimes when you hear, when you have that sort of imbalance, it creates a perception that, oh, this is what my constituents think, even though the people who are yelling and screaming and demanding that you oppose housing bills are not a majority. But it creates a sort of political dysfunction.
It's kind of interesting because, kind of looking at your bills of the past that haven't worked out, they've all seemed, in retrospect, to be kind of reasonable additions, making apartment buildings that already exist taller, putting housing and transportation close together. Have you seen attitudes on those issues, change over, these past 3 or 4 months, or 3 or 4 years, or is it still the same?
Yeah, I mean, it's really the one bill. It's SB 50 that didn't pass, but I think SB 50 opened the door to a number of other zoning reform bills and allowed some other bills to pass that might not have passed. So I think that bill, which is sort of a blockbuster, big bill, I wish we could have passed it, but I think it opened the door to a lot of other bills. So yeah, I think we've seen more legislators who have been willing to vote for these bills, but it's still hard.
Right.
These bills are still all really hard.